Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
The Little Things, a new movie out on HBO Max, part of the simultaneous release of movies in theaters and HBO Max, starring Denzel Washington, starring Rami Malek, Jared Leto, powerhouse actors in what I would say is a good movie, but not a great movie. It has been compared to, in my head, as well as on Twitter and other social media, the similarities between this and the movie Seven. I think Seven is a far superior film. Both have young kind of powerhouse detectives teaming up with an old grizzled vet. This one has a little bit mystery as far as Denzel Washington playing the old grizzled vet and the Rami Malek playing the up and coming young detective, which he does have a lot of respect for the old vet, which I would say most movies tend to have when they have that kind of dynamic. The young up and comer has more of a cocky view, not as humble or willing to bring in the experience of the old experienced veteran detective. But Denzel Washington's character has clearly a questionable past. Something happened. There's a mystery to what happened to his character. Why did he go from being this just amazing detective to kind of within a month, I think it said, or within a few months, he got divorced, had a heart attack, just kind of his whole life fell apart. So it's you don't really know what happened to him, but there's this interesting mystery behind him. And Rami Malek's character just very encouraged to learn from him and gain knowledge from his experience. The movie was okay. It's a bit slow. I'd say the acting by the three main leads is good. They're all very interesting takes on these characters, very unconventional. Rami Malek is flat. There's aside from a scene where he's in a stakeout and gets frustrated and punches a window, he's very flat, very much an observer, which I didn't mind it. It's very, I think for an up and coming detective, a lot of actors would probably have taken it a different way. Similar to what Brad Pitt did, a little bit more outgoing. But Rami Malek's performance I thought was great. Denzel settles into this kind of weird, creepy old detective guy. He has this weird just the way he holds his jaw is weird. He has an underbite or an overbite. I don't know what you call it. He plays kind of a dopey kind of a guy. And then Jared Leto's character plays he's the interesting suspect, let's say. And he plays it interesting as well. They're all very interesting. But it doesn't. Their performances and their interesting takes on those performances, I don't think, add up to help this movie in any way. Because I think the story is kind of the overall. It's like a detective neo-noir kind of a film, and the overarching story isn't very interesting. They found there's some dead bodies that are reminding the old grizzled vet of a case that he worked. Right, so he's hooked because he's trying to solve this old case that he was a part of, and it's just, I don't know, the connective tissue I don't feel was there, as opposed to Seven, because all the murders had they're all connected in this weird, more a poetic kind of killer in Seven, I would say, or there's a lot of movies that. Even Hannibal, just a lot of movies that kind of focus on some kind of serial killer, some kind of crazy killer. they tend to have more substance to the reasoning for their murders, and the only real substance comes in the performance of Jared Leto, which we never know. Spoilers for a movie that I don't think is very good. I mean, if you have the chance, I mean, the performances are interesting, like I said, but the story is just so boring. It's so boring, and it's almost like people do things and it doesn't end up really mattering. And like I would way more recommend people watching Seven than watching this one. I mean, you're gonna get visually this movie, The Little Things, has very little to be desired. It is not visually stunning in any way. There are some cool looking shots from LA. These it's and just seeing the locations that they go to in LA, and places that look, the desert areas that Denzel's character lives looks very similar to areas that I live around. Um, but overall, it's like, even if this movie could have been elevated by just a couple things and it would have been a lot better. Considering, I would say the performances are way better than this movie should ha- have any, like, there's no reason. It's like the elevation of the performances versus like the visual storytelling and the actual story being told are so like levels apart. And I think if the visual of this film, the way it was shot, if it was done in a more interesting way, I think that would have brought a little bit more into it. But also just the writing a little bit better. I mean, there's parts, like, there's so much of this movie where the Denzel's past is almost more interesting than the case they're working. And like you could tell, like, they're sprinkling in things for Denzel where he's clearly acting weird. But they talk about him with such reverence that that he's an important person. Um, but it just, I don't know. It's a movie that wasn't super disappointing. I mean, I was hooked. The relationship that Denzel and Rami Malek's characters have in this film is interesting, and I would love to see those characters in a better film. Like, even if they did a remake of Seven and they had Rami Malek and Denzel from this movie, the characters, how they portray these characters in this movie in Seven would completely change Seven in a way that would be super interesting to watch. Just because they're playing these two detectives in a very unconventional way, I would say, in comparison to a lot of detective movies, which I'm not a huge fan necessarily of detective movies. I do enjoy them, but so I don't know how far apart their performances are from a traditional detective performance, but it seems like it. And I think the time frame of this movie, it was set in the 90s, which is kind of interesting as well. But overall, it left a little bit to be desired. Wasn't super. I mean, I'm glad I watched it. I could see somebody getting nominated for something, but the fact that Denzel's mysterious past is the most intriguing part, as opposed to the actual case they're working. Because there's no real, like, when Jared Leto's character comes in, it seems like there should be more to it, but there's really not. It seems like there's a lot missing in making that character more relevant to why they're so. I mean, it's tough to say. I guess maybe I need to hear other people's opinions on it. Maybe there's an angle that makes it more sense. But like, there were aspects of this movie. Like, there's a scene in the police department where a witness is going to the bathroom and ends up going to the bathroom on without an escort, right? And right when that happens, something's going to happen, right? But at the same time, they're bringing Jared Leto to be questioned for these murders, and there's just like this very almost TV drama, like almost like a just not just like lazy writing to kind of show a scene that ended up being very boring of a scene. I mean, it was like my anticipation for something that I knew that was going to happen. I knew that those two characters were going to pass each other and there's something's going to happen. But when it happened, it was like a nothing moment that just allowed for her to recognize him later on when she's looking at pictures. It's just there were aspects of this that I felt super flat compared to the performances that were given. So little things. I know there's people out there that loved it. It's not bad, but it was like the movie and the story didn't match to the level of the performances, I feel. And it felt a little disjointed in that way. But if you have HBO Max, it's worth a shot. I mean, I'm a big Denzel fan. I love Rami Malek as well. I think and even Jared Leto. They're all great actors, but I wish they were in a better movie. Kindle Unlimited. Are you somebody who likes to read books? Get yourself a subscription to Kindle Unlimited, starting off with your free trial when you go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Kindle. We all know what Kindle is. It's the electronic book company where you can read unlimited books, unlimited listening, unlimited devices, unlimited stuff, unlimited potential, unlimited imagination, unlimited. Kindle Unlimited. InspiredDisorder.com/Kindle for Kindle Unlimited. Free trial of Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited. InspiredDisorder.com/Kindle Unlimited. Reading, listening, any device. Unlimited. InspiredDisorder.com/Kindle. Sign up now. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/InspiredDisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at InspiredDisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!